everyone. So I'm going to go through the details of this week's distance learning. This week, especially, has a bit more information than the weeks past have had since we are moving into some new information. And so just know that there's quite a bit to get to this time through, and I'm going to describe and detail it as best as I can. But as always, if you have questions, you are more than welcome to email me. I have a feeling I'll have a lot of questions this week, so just make sure that you're getting those questions to me as soon as you need that help. Okay. Like always, you are in the Google Classroom for your specific period. You are looking under classwork and then distance learning week 5 specifically. Always, you want to start with the chemistry assignment log so that you know what is due this week and in what order it suggested you do it in. So you are going to be in 427 through 5-1. That is week 5 of distance learning. And I'm going to go ahead and put that here so that you have that information. You are going to be expected to take care of 3 things this week. The first is the Pear Deck equation, Pear Deck equation notes. So we're going to be looking at chemical equations and how those are balanced this week. You have the notes through Pear Deck, which you should be very familiar with Pear Deck and how to answer the questions as you move through the notes. I would suggest you take handwritten notes as you're working through, but your summaries will be turned in through the Pear Deck like they are when we do the Pear Decks in class. So make sure that you're signing in with your school account, your school Google account when it asks for it. What that's going to look like is you are going to be asked to log in. Once you've logged in, it'll ask you just as always how you're feeling today. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it just so it doesn't mess with any of my data. And then when you get in here, what it's going to do is it's going to run you through that presentation as if you were in the classroom with me. So it's starting me on a different page because I had already tested it beforehand. So what's going to happen is you folks are going to run through these slides on your own. Remember, some of the slides are information that you need to take down. Other slides are going to be checks for understanding. So as you move through this presentation, please make sure you're reading those slides, taking some notes on some paper of your own or in a Google Doc, whichever you prefer. But don't forget to stop and answer those questions. So this one is specifically asking us to type in here the answer as to what the 5 indicators for chemical reactions are. And once you've written that response, you can move on to the next piece and your presentation will continue through. Okay. I'm focused more on what the equations are and how you balance them. I know right now you don't know what that means, and it's going to be a process for you to go through and learn this. But I think I've got some good activities in here to help you with that. So you'll do the Pear Deck. Make sure you get to the end. Remember, when you make it to the end, it's going to ask you to give a summary of what you have learned. So remember, your summary is always 5 sentences at least. And this is how I'll be assigning points for this. So if you do not complete the summary, you will not receive the points for going through the presentation. Okay. Then you have your PhET balancing equation simulation. So after we've gone through the presentation and learned about what those equations are and how they're balanced, you're going to do a PhET simulation, okay? With the simulation, there is a Google Doc. So if you go to the classroom and you open up that Google Doc, I suggest that you do this in a split screen. So what I mean by that is if you are in this top right-hand corner, I'll go ahead and highlight it so you can see. If you're in this top right-hand corner just up here, it's not going to let me go that far. It has the option to minimize your screen. So if you minimize your screen, you have the option to drag it to one side so that you can see more than one tab at a time. So I would suggest that you guys split your screen as you're working on this so that you can see both the questions and the problems as you work. Okay. That'll probably be the best way for you to get this assignment taken care of if you minimize that document there so that you can see all of the questions. And then I will go through that PhET simulation with the Google Doc up at the same time. So if you didn't catch that, I minimized it so that I was seeing half that screen, and then you drag them either to the left and drop it or to the right and drop it. But I would use that split screen to see all the information. Okay. And then just as always with these simulations, you're going to go through and answer the questions straight on this Google form. So it says to explore the balancing equation simulation and discuss what you find. And unfortunately, we're at home by ourselves, so we are not going to have a group. Go ahead and fix that for you guys right now. So what you'll do is you'll start with the introduction. When you click on the introduction, you'll notice that down here it says make ammonia, separate water, and combust methane. notice that those match these boxes on the Google Doc. So if you are looking at completing the first section of that PhET simulation Google Doc, you are going to be in the introduction section of the simulation. Okay. Once you've completed the introduction and you filled out both of those boxes, now it's going to ask you to play level 1 of the game. The game is going to be the second window. If you go back to the home page, there's a second window that says game. If you click on that, you'll notice you've got level 1, level 2, and then lastly level 3. You guys are only going to be completing levels 1 and 2 this time. So you'll notice here that directions also state play level 1 or play level 2. So it'll be up to you to go through and just make sure that you're doing the correct one. You'll notice though that it does ask that you screenshot your completion. You need to get at least 3 of those 5 stars done in order for that level to be finished and for me to let you move on to the next one. So you'll be taking a screenshot of your completion screen just to let me know that you have for sure done that level and you've got those questions correct, at least 3 out of the 5 stars, and that will be how that is completed. And you're just going to paste that picture right in here. Okay, so when you are ready to say or show me that you have finished, you'll hit Control Shift and you will take your screenshot, and that screenshot can be used to paste into your assignment. Okay. Lastly, just as every other week, you're going to have your weekly reflection. So please make sure, I'm going to bring this screen back up so you can see it fully. Make sure that you answer that in at least those 5 sentences. The programs that you're using this week are familiar to us. We're used to Google Forms. We are used to Google Docs. We have been familiarizing ourselves with Pear Deck in the classroom when we take notes. So they're all programs that you've used before, you've used in the past. Just make sure you are really taking the time to read those directions and move slowly through those assignments. You are doing this now on your own at home, and even though I'm here to answer questions, there's going to be a lot of things that you have to rewatch, reread, retry, and that's okay. You just need to make sure that you're actually doing it. That way you get the most out of the assignment and you're not just spending your time going through this just because you feel like you have to. Okay, balancing equations is a really key piece of chemistry, and so this is something that you want to make sure that you are dedicating some real time to. Remember, if you're feeling overwhelmed with what's due, always go back to that log that tells you what things are due and where you can find them, because that'll be the best way to organize your thoughts and work through these assignments one by one. If you have any questions, please make sure that you get a hold of me. Otherwise, I'll be checking in my email and just kind of seeing what comments and questions I've received. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will hear from you all soon.